All right, friends, welcome back again to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment, our YouTube channel is dedicated to Bannerlord and tactics. I'm going to shorten the intro here because this is going to be a fast and furious episode. A lot of you guys want to have information in a concise manner, so we are going to fight the nightmare scenario here for a lot of people, and that is a very large force of heavy cavalry and horse archers in the open field. Now, both sides in this battle have Tier 3 troops and above, so that we have an equal quality of troop on the battlefield. Just going through here and showing you effectively both sides have high quality units. Of course, they have the legendary Khan's Guard, and we're outnumbered by 20% fighting on the steppe, right? This is the Khuzait home territory, and we're not going to use the edge of the map, right? We are going to fight in the open, and I'm going to give you guys a tactic that will work, provided you can get your timing down, get a little practice in. Now, we know the Khuzait is going to circle us counterclockwise, so we're going to put our 1st Infantry and Cavalry Division facing those horse archers, right? Slightly tilted off towards the left. Now, what we're effectively going to do here is trap the enemy, right? We're going to have 2 archer divisions, one that's lower ranking, and they will be behind our cav and infantry, and another one that's a little higher ranking. We will get that by selecting high-tiered troops, and we will put them off to our left flank. That's because we want the enemy to essentially start to retreat at some point. If they circle us, that makes this strategy a lot harder. Now, infantry behind the cavalry in a shield wall, of course, to absorb arrows. And all of that horse meat also makes it safer for our infantry to stand behind them, right? All these shock troops and whatnot. We don't want these Manavliatons getting skewered by thousands of horse archer arrows. All right, so you can see the angle of approach there. 1st Infantry behind the 2nd Cavalry, and then again, the two different archer divisions. I like to make the 4th the stronger archer division and make it a little smaller. That way they can square. And then the 5th behind the infantry and cavalry. That gives those guys a little bit of protection from getting charged by cavalry, from getting attacked by melee, and of course from getting shot by arrows. Meanwhile, our 7th and 8th are going to be our ambush divisions. Now, the enemy's going to come in over on this left flank, right? We're almost certain they're going to circle us over here. What we will do, of course, is pelt them with arrows. And if they decide to retreat, right, we will essentially slam the door shut on them, creating a massive traffic jam. One of the horse archer's weaknesses is if they're standing still, right? A horse archer gets destroyed by an archer if both units are standing still. The key is to get them to stand still. Well, they're not going to do that without unless you inflict force, right? And if you just ask them to stand still, they won't comply. So what we're going to do here, of course, is repel them with archers. Crossbow in particular do especially well against horse archers because they're ready to fire. They're locked and loaded. And as these guys come in, what we're going to do is we're going to intercept the rest of their forces with our cav and horse archers. I mean, that's my plan. Obviously, it's not always going to go to plan. You might try this battle a couple, 3 times before you have your timing down. These episodes, by the way, are what I'm calling 10 minutes to victory. We're going to have very fast episodes here. We'll be using the RTS mod both to fly around the battlefield, also to speed these episodes up. Now, the horse archers are coming in, of course, and notice that little gap between them and the main vanguard of cav, infantry, and archers. We're going to seize and intercept that gap, right? Our horse archers, they're starting to shoot. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go right between this gap, and we're going to place our 8th Cavalry in a shield wall facing all of the enemy troops. And I don't mean the enemies, the horse archers, facing their main vanguard just like that, right? The idea here is that we're trying to isolate these horse archers with our troops. The other thing, of course, it's going to do is create a massive traffic jam of different units. You can see some of their horse archers are starting to sort of cycle around and try to circle us. They're going to get shot to pieces by our archers at some point, and they will probably try to regroup. Meanwhile, our 7th horse archers we're putting over here on the flank. That's just so that those guys can provide a little bit of flanking fire for them. But also, I'm hoping to attack their their archers after we destroy or damage their horse archers. So the 1st and 2nd Cavalry are told to attack, and we have a combined attack back here. I'm actually surprised Khuzait isn't trying to flee. When they do flee, they're going to run into a problem, right? They're going to run into a huge traffic jam. But this is also sufficient, right? They're really getting stood up. And while they're getting stood up, they're getting shot Things are going very badly for them. Now we're going to create the traffic jam here. You can see our cavalry there. The enemy cav is in the way. There's infantry mixed in here. It's a big mess. But vitally, the horse archers aren't moving very quickly. Also, you see all of our cavalry. One of the purposes they have here is to absorb arrows. The enemy archers over there are firing away at us, and all of our cav here holding up their shields is going to prevent a lot of these arrows from killing our troops. We've effectively isolated all of their archers and almost taken them out of the game, right? They're not really effective in this battle. Meanwhile, our infantry's coming up here. Our archers, including our horse archers, are firing away. And our horse archers have a nice little flank on the enemy, right? They're shooting at the enemy's side. And in fact, a lot of these heavy cav had had enough. Now, I told you we wanted to use some of our cav to destroy their archers, right? They have 100 of these very tough, what are they, not master archers, marksmen and whatnot. We're now going to disrupt the fuck out of these guys and eliminate this last major threat. This battle is really already over, but this is being more precise, right? If this was a very close battle, this would win you the battle, right? We're dragging a horse archer division through here and a heavy cav division, and all we're doing is going back and forth. Very mundane, stabbing a few guys in the face. The sole purpose we're doing here is knocking them around, interrupting them from shooting, and waiting for our infantry to come up and butcher these guys, right? Now, our cav is scoring kills, but heavy cav are not great against archers. What they are useful for is knocking them around, right? Providing essentially interruptions for them, a distraction, right? Our infantry's roaring up, our archers are roaring up, and this isn't just a victory against a foe we're outnumbered by. We destroyed the Khuzait here, right? 250 survivors. We had something close to 55 to 60% survivor rate here. All right, now I told you we're going to use the RTS mod. I'm also going to show you this battle rather, from the overhead view. Some guys, of course, struggle to see what the fuck I'm doing down on the ground floor. It's definitely easier to micromanage your troops and to have your cavalry follow you from that first-person perspective, but a lot of guys also prefer the RTS mod and the overhead view for seeing the battle more completely. We're going to sneak that episode in here as well, and in fact, this might be like a 12-minute episode. I'll try to make this as quick as possible. I'll speed this up, of course, using the RTS mod. Same exact configuration, right? Second cav, first infantry, and you can micromanage this and have a shock troop division and stuff like that if you really want to, but this is quite effective without getting overly complex. 2 archer divisions, 2 cav divisions, an infantry division, and a horse archer division, so we're using 6 divisions. Now again, notice our strong archers over here. These guys can square if they need to, but vitally they're there to sort of repel the enemy from circling. Horse archers don't like being shot by tons of archers. Generally, if that happens, they will pull back to their main line. That is what we're counting on for this strategy. All right, so we got blimp mode here. It's a little odd for me to control this, but the 7th and the 8th, we start to position off to the enemy's left. It's our right, their left. Again, you can see we're outnumbered by 90. In this battle, conceivably, I think you could win against 50% more troops than you. So 900 versus your 600 with these fairly simplistic tactics. That said, the timing is vital, right? And it's actually harder for me with the RTS mod. It's harder for me to estimate distances. But all these shields ready to absorb the arrows. We know the arrows are coming in. And what do they hit, right? They hit horse flesh. They hit shields. They're not really doing much to our infantry. Meanwhile, in come our trap divisions, right? We're going to position the 8th again, right over this ridge in a wall. The horse archers also, this time I think because of where they are and the timing, we'll just position them over here on the enemy's left flank. That'll still work. Those guys will still be shooting. At this stage, the infantry is told to charge, and we can start positioning the cavalry for the trap, right? We can start to move the 8th Corps in and tell the 2nd Cav, you guys can charge too. I mentioned the first battle. Anytime you're spreading out your archers like this, you really want to tell those guys F1, F6, or stop with the console. And what that does is it prevents those guys from running around trying to basically continue that spread formation. If you tell them to stop, when their buddy gets shot to death right next to them, they won't move, right? Unless they're routing, they will stand still. Now in this sequence, the horse archers got a little bit more behind us than that first battle. I don't think it's going to matter. Our archers are raking them, and vitally, we've completely clogged up the center of the battlefield. That means our infantry is going to rampage here, and any horse archers that get stuck in there are going to get butchered. So this example is a little bit closer, but partly because I'm not micromanaging, right? I'm not down on the ground level, traveling and carrying my cavalry through their archers. You notice I'm not trying to do any of that this battle. I'm essentially just letting it play out. So this would be the simplified version of that first battle. And as you can see, it's still highly successful. Just to reemphasize, we're outnumbered by 20% here, fighting in the open against the dreaded Khuzait, and we're not using the back of the map, right? We are not taking advantage of the fact that the easiest way, of course, to fight the Khuzait is with a nice hard mountain to your back. And as you can see here, not quite as successful as the first battle, but still very successful. All right, and so last 60 seconds here, just for your proof how important this is, let's go ahead and put the sergeants in control of this exact same Empire force. This is what would happen if you did sergeants in control, which is F1, F6 for the PC. Our plan is to crush them with cavalry and sweep the rest with a follow-up attack. Carfid, good luck. Good luck with that, right? Against almost 600 horse archers, you're going to sweep them and crush them and some other shit. Already the death spam doesn't look good. Now, I'm not going to fight in this battle. I'm just sort of observing the death spam. But this is... Now, they may still win. I doubt it with the sergeants being in control here. But this is to essentially show you how vital it is to have good tactics against the Khuzait. It does not appear to be going well. Our plan is to get in range and shower them with arrows. Yeah, well, you got most of that, right? Your plan is to get within their range and get showered with arrows, is what it really looks like. Their horse archers are circling you in a wave of death here, and the red death spam is starting to take over the screen. This is the exact same battle that consecutively we just won, both with the control of the tactics and then using the RTS mod. You put the sergeants in control here, you put the AI in charge of your army, and even if you killed 30 or 40 guys with your character here in this battle, it's still a battle you're going to lose. You can see the Khuzait is winning handily here, and ultimately defeat is assured. Our plan is to attack with the full force around our infantry. These commands are changing more and more as he's getting more and more desperate. His next command should be, our plan is to run for our lives. Our plan is to fall back in formation to fight another day. That sums it up, right? The AI will not be able to win you this battle. The tactic I showed you in the first two battles here should help you win this battle, albeit with some practice. You guys will need to do some practice, but hopefully this gives you all the ammunition, all the tactics you guys need to devastate the Khuzait. With that said, I'm going to wrap this hyper speed episode up. I appreciate you fellas. Please hit that like button and come by the channel another time, and I will see you guys next time.